Hey, yo, what's up? This is Ice-T. Right now, you're watching and listening to Overdrive. All right, act like you know, motherfucker.
Hey guys, we're back with Overdrive, and I am more than happy to finally, after such a long time, I've got Sin Quirin with me right here. How are you, dude?
I'm very well, man. It's a pleasure to be back, and it's great to see you. It's been way too long.
It has been way too long. We were just talking as we were setting up here. It's been years. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while, and it's been difficult because you have been super busy. Now, for those that don't know, Sin has released this new music that's out with a project that he's working on called Siglos. And I think we'll just start with that and where it all came from.
Well, thank you. It, in a weird, bizarre way, it actually started during the shutdown, during COVID. When I found myself obviously just locked up in a room and just writing music. Now, at the time, I had just come off the Ministry Slayer tour. So this was the end of 2019, and going into early 2020, Ministry was actually rehearsing to get ready to go to Australia and Japan. We were going to do the download festivals in March of 2020. And obviously that's when COVID hit and we were, just grounded and shut down. And so I found myself just writing like I normally do. But we thought we would be back in a few months. And that turned into, a year or so later. And so in that year's time, I was assembling a group of songs. And it sort of started with the idea of me doing, for lack of a better term, sort of a solo record. And I was going to have a bunch of different guest vocalists on every song. Now, that was the initial idea. And one of the ideas that I had for a song, I was envisioning a sort of extreme black metal type of vocal to it, which I had never done before. And so I was in the studio with my producer, Alex Pressioni, and I, mentioned this idea to him, and he suggested this guy, Pedro Sanchez, from this band Transtorno. Now, he had recorded with him. He had worked with him in the past. So we reached out to Pedro, and he came down. He heard the song idea that I had, and that's kind of how this whole thing started. One of the first things that Pedro asked me was, do you want the vocals, do you want the lyrics in English or Spanish? And I hadn't even thought about this concept yet. I was like, when he asked me that question, I just blurted out Spanish. Like right away, I just thought, wow, what an interesting sort of angle to do this song in. So he took the song, he came back about a week later with what turned into our first single from our first EP, songs called Por los Siglos. And I loved it so much that I said, Pedro, would you be interested in doing another song? And so he came back, same thing, did the second track. And after the second song, I was really excited about going in that direction with this project. I no longer wanted to, do a solo record. I wanted this to be sort of a project. And back then, honestly, I was thinking about it just being a studio project. I really wasn't thinking about doing any live shows or anything like that. And so we began recording what turned into the first EP. And we did 5 songs for that EP. We did a couple music videos. And that was it. And then shortly after we started releasing that material, I started getting approached by people because that's when things were opening back up and things like that. And this is now, I want to say, going into 2021, maybe, or going into 2022. I don't remember. But at the time, after being away from Ministry for so long, I left the band. I just, I felt it was time for me to move on. Yeah. I sort of felt like I had done everything that I had set out to do with that project, and it was just the right feeling for me. And I was so excited to do this new project that I just thought, you know what? The last thing I did was this month-long tour with Slayer, this arena tour. I was like, where am I going to go from here? I mean, I would rather go out on top. You know, much love and respect to the guys in Ministry, and to Al. You know, I have nothing but the utmost respect and love for those guys. So I just thought I felt like it was my time to move on, and I was so excited about this new project, and it was a feeling that I hadn't had, to be honest with you, in many years. I was starting to feel like I was just going through the motions towards the end there, with Ministry, and that's my own thing. You know, I just wasn't feeling the excitement as much as I used to feel, and I think that just happens with time. I think you start to get into this sort of hamster wheel mentality where you're just doing it and you're doing it just out of something you're accustomed to. But once I was away from that and I started to write and create on my own again, that excitement came back.
I think your experience in just the music that you were playing with Ministry and all the stuff prior to that, Revolting Cocks, everything that you did prior to that is in the DNA of this. But there's just something so fantastic about the cultural aspect and the bravery as well to make that decision of saying, do you know what, we're going to sing in this language. It must feel incredibly liberating for you right now to see that this is finally gathering momentum. People are talking.
100%. Everything you said, 100% spot on. It is frightening to step out on your own, to say the least. But at the same time, so liberating. And, after being, cause you got to remember, I was in Ministry for 15 years.
Yeah.
And that's a long time to be in that level of a project. And then literally be out on your own. It's definitely scary, but mentally I was in the right space and the right frame of mind. And if you're in that space, it's all gravy, man. It's all cool, because I was at peace with myself. I was at peace with what I had done. I'm very proud of everything that I did with Ministry and with every other project prior to that. And I was at a place where I literally just said, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do 100%. Whether we're up here or down here with this new project, that doesn't matter to me, because I'm at peace with myself and with the music. I love what we're doing. I love the message. I'm very proud of the other guys in the band and what we're doing and what we stand for. It just feels great, man, to do this. But yes, it's definitely very scary to, you feel very, very vulnerable. And actually, the highest, one of the biggest highs I get is when I release music, when I put it out there. And it's also one of the scariest things, because to me, it's me putting my heart and soul out there for everyone to judge and critique and, talk about. So it's very scary.
Just talking about this latest EP that came out, 5 tracks, and I urge anyone you got to check this out. You can find it at all streaming platforms. This is, again, it's another EP. Are there, and I know from just from in communication with you, you are continuing to write. There's new music being written right now. So
absolutely.
My question is, are you going to go with the blueprint of just EP, or is there going to be an album, or what's the plan?
I'll give you my reasoning for releasing these 5-song EPs right now, which it might change in the future. To me, what I've noticed in this musical climate is just the attention span being so tiny with people. The thought of releasing a full length, either 10, 12 songs, I feel like that's kind of not what kids do or people listen to, or the way people listen to music right now. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to sort of grab them enough to where they won't put it down. To me, releasing 5 songs felt like the right amount of time to keep their attention without them getting bored with it and wanting to, oh, what's next, or what else am I going to do here? So that was the whole reasoning behind releasing these 5-song EPs. Now, in the future, yeah, we might do a full length. I'm still not sure, but right now it's like I want to just kind of give people enough to keep them there, because I want them to listen to everything, as opposed to just seeing there's another 6-7 songs left and I'm just gonna skip past this. So.
I mean, how kind of creatively deep are you into new tracks?
Yeah, we're about 3 new songs in the works, and literally, man, I was in the studio over the weekend, and typically when I go into the studio, the songs they've already been demoed. And I go into the studio just to basically, re-record everything. And we had a couple of ideas. I had a couple of ideas for this new thing that we're doing. But I literally wrote a new one in the studio right on the spot. The highs for me are playing live and writing music. Both equally as high, but different. And so the fact that we were there in the studio and just came up with a brand new idea, which I'm extremely proud of, it just keeps feeding and fueling me. I mean, that's what I do. Yeah. And to touch on something that you mentioned a little while ago, that my DNA is, from my previous projects is in this new Siglos stuff. I appreciate you saying that very much. And I agree with you. What I think I've done is I've brought all of my influences, from all the other bands that I've been in, and I've tried to apply them to Siglos, plus adding other elements that I wasn't able to with other projects. I do pride myself with the stuff that I wrote in the past and applying it to this new project. When we first started recording these Siglos tracks a few years ago, I was going into it as like a black metal project or like extreme metal.
Yeah.
And I soon after that sort of started bringing other elements in. I brought in some electronics. I brought in some, other instrumentation that might not be in a black metal band. And then I just started to think to myself, well, what? I really don't want to pigeonhole us much. I want us to always be growing and expanding. And in my writing, I mean, that's what I'm always constantly trying to do, is grow.
You are coming over. You're going to be at Bloodstock this year. And oh my God, the day you're playing is just ridiculous. I mean, Christ almighty, on the Sophie Lancaster stage with Obituary, 3 Inches of Blood, Throne, you guys, Spirit Adrift. I mean, it goes on and on. Black Dahlia Murder, Lords of the Lost, Mastodon, Gojira. This is
unbelievable.
Fucking amazing to have you come over for this.
Unbelievable. I'm literally, Oren, I have chills right now with you just talking. Like, I swear to God, I can't. I'll be honest with you here. When we got the news that we were going to be a part of this year's Bloodstock, to say I literally just couldn't control my tears.
Oh wow!
And it was just so many emotions. There was just all these feelings, from years past, that it was like an overflow of emotions that I had no control over. Man, all the hard work, literal blood, sweat, and tears that go into trying to make something happen. I'm always going to be eternally grateful to you for your help in doing this, and to Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
I mean,
at the end of the day, yeah.
Simon, I mean, he and I spoke we were speaking for months, about trying to make this happen, and thank him enough for making this happen and for getting us on there. We are so grateful and thankful for this opportunity, man. You know, so again, thank you to you, thank you to Simon, thank you to everyone at Bloodstock.
Yeah.
We can't wait to be there, man. We're bringing our A game. We can't wait to show everybody what we're about.
Well, listen, you know, at the end of the day, you're there because of the music, and that speaks for itself. And again,
thank you
for anyone watching this. I cannot state enough. I urge you to just go and dive in to Siglos, and you will not be disappointed. It is just some seriously quality stuff, and
thank you.
We're only at the beginning, I feel. Now, this is only the tip of what you're capable of doing, so it's going to be awesome. Sin Quirin, thank you so much for joining me on Overdrive and filling us all in on the mighty Siglos.
Oren, thank you so much. And again, I can't stress this enough. Thank you so much for all of your help, all of your support. We appreciate it. The band appreciates it very much. I appreciate you very much. You know, thank you. Thank you once again to Simon. Thank you once again to everyone at Bloodstock for having us there. We're very much looking forward to this. This is like a highlight for me, man. Thank you to everyone also watching. I appreciate everyone's love and support. It means the world to me that you guys are here, that you guys care. And, you know, we'll see you out there in 2025.